All right. So today, I promised last week, the Alchemy promised that they would share what happened at the gathering. So we're going to get started with that in just a minute. I have a couple of announcements I'd like to do because I think then we're going to go deep into the energy and questions and a few things like that. So, um, all right. Well, let me share with you. So this week, we have the advanced opportunities on the full moon this Thursday. It will be at 3:30 Pacific time, and it will be recorded. You get the recording the same day. It is through my website, sparklesoflove.love. Along the top, you'll see where it says register. So if you want to join us, they are always the newest potentials and tools and processes on the planet for your advancement. So that is this Thursday. All right. And I also wanted to share with you that before I went to the gathering, the Alchemy asked me to do the calendars, where I've done for more than 10 years now. And it is a combination of primarily of whales when we went whale watching and floral, and as always, the inspirational sayings. They are $25 and will be available through my website, sparklesoflove.love. I have less than 10 left. So if you're interested in having one of the calendars, they were all charged under the altar during the gathering. And so put your, so you can let me know if you're interested in one, or I'm not sure if Christian's got them on the website yet. All right, so let us talk about the gathering. So this is really important in that, and I want people to understand the gathering we just completed, the Muskoka gathering, was our 20th gathering. Okay, in 11 years, we've done 20 gatherings at the request of the Alchemy, and never in 20 gatherings have they ever shared outside of the gathering what happened right away. Sometimes a few years later, they shared bits and pieces. Most of the time, they share nothing. They don't tell you what was done. They are not out to brag. They don't feel they need to advertise what they're doing. It is truly following the divine plan. It is always in accordance with where the energies are at, with the collective consciousness of humanity, and with the divine plan and what the potentials are. So this is also why they don't do an agenda in advance. So this gathering was also unusual in that we knew the first day we were going to work with the angelic grid that we had been working with back in May and June. So last week when they announced they were going to talk about it, I quite frankly, I was shocked. And so I want first to share with you why they're going to talk to you, why they're going to publicly say these things. Now, we have shared some stuff, like after Karila's birth, they did share, but that Karila shared it like a few weeks later. But for the most part, they don't share. They don't share. And it's like when all the world is looking one way about some big thing happening, it always feels like they come in and go the other way and do their work very quietly. We do it very quietly and help make a difference on the planet energetically, again, in accordance with the divine plan. So I always feel very honored to be a part of a gathering, and I hold this reverence and deep gratitude for what we do there. So I'm stepping out of my comfort zone to be sharing all of this. And I think there will be the opportunity for a few questions. I don't know if they will answer all the questions. So let's sort of, we're going to go through the days. I might have the order of the days mixed up, but this is sort of, but that doesn't really matter. Okay. So as many of you know, because some of you were also present, the first day at the gathering, we create we activated and worked with the angelic resonance grid, and they changed it from the angelic healing grid. And right now there's the people that were there with us that day are doing a 3-month trial before they announce to everybody how to use it and how to work with it. And in simple terms, it is not a healing grid, and that's why the name was changed. But what it does is it helps you move into resonance with your angelic energies. Okay. And so we will share more about that in January and how everybody can go and use it. So that was day one, and it was a big day. And I think the other thing that was really profound is that each of the 5 days, each of the 5 days in the past would have been a whole gathering. It would have been a whole gathering. So that was pretty, so each day was like a full-on gathering. So, and the other thing that happened is we started on the Saturday night. After dinner, we went back and we literally started with the energies. So, yeah. So the first full day was the angelic resonance grid. Day two was very profound. Day two. So all of you, is there anyone, if I said Karila, who hasn't heard me speak about Karila? Okay. So Karila was birthed, I think, I'm going to say roughly over 2 years ago at a gathering. And she was the first of the light beings to come through who will be replacing Mother Gaia, because Mother Gaia's contracts to hold the energy for planet Earth are coming to a conclusion. And first off, the alchemy and Mother Gaia don't want anyone to be upset about that. She's not upset about it. It is, she held a contract to support humanity and Earth, and her contract's coming to an end. That is profound because it means that things are shifting on planet Earth. And what happens with this one is that we're moving into unity consciousness. And so when you think about it, it makes more sense that a council, a group of beings, holds the energy for the planet than a single being when you're moving into unity consciousness. And so Karila has a council of 12. So it's Karila and the council of 12. Right now, these past 2 years, Karila has been the spokesperson. I'm assuming she will continue to be there, but that's my assumption. And we have been working with her over several gatherings. She started to bring these, I'll just say, these pods of light down from source and into the earth planes, into where her temple is. And that was fine. Again, when you go to a gathering, you do an awful lot in trust because they don't say what this is or why. And on day two of this gathering, we went into the temple and we spent the whole day doing this work. And the process doesn't matter, where Karila put out the energetic call for the council to begin to awaken, for the 12 beings of light that will be the council that replaces Mother Gaia to awaken. And I know for myself, it was so profound for me that, I mean, what a huge, huge indicator of steps forward for us as a planet and as humanity. Now, I will share that none of us know, nor will they ever say, how long that will take. and at what pace it will go, whether they'll all awaken at once or individually or in groups, or and how long that it could be years. It could be less than that. There's no way of knowing. And we have done, as humans, we have done our part now. There is nothing else that we need to influence or partake in. Our piece of the work with Karela on calling to awaken the Council of 12 is complete. And so now it's really the planetary energies, the collective consciousness, and the divine plan, and Karela herself that make the decisions on the rest of the awakening for the council, for the Council of 12. So that was day 12, and it was really profound. And yeah, that was day 2. Excuse me, not day 12, day 2. Okay. So then we moved into the next 3 days. We moved into the deepest level of work we've ever done at a gathering, which is saying a lot. And what happened is, in a very short explanation of everything, is that we began by experiencing unity consciousness. And this group of 15 of us, and got to practice and experience and hold the vibrations of unity consciousness. So one of the things that the alchemy shared for our gathering, and I'm being asked to share it with you now, is that they were referring to unity consciousness as a little different than oneness, and I'll explain why. So most of us have experienced some sort of oneness with either nature or the animal kingdom. Your cat, your dog, your rabbit, or when you're out in nature. Raise your hand if you feel you've experienced that sort of connection, either in nature or with an animal. Maybe you have with another human, but just raise your hand. So at some point in your life, have you felt that connection with nature or animals? Yeah. Okay. So many of you have. Many of you have, yeah. And so for our week, they referred to that more as the oneness, right? To experience oneness. So for us, what they did that week, what they talked about is unity consciousness for the week that we spent together. Unity consciousness is that connection with other humans. So while many of us have experienced it in nature or with animals, far less of us have experienced it with other humans. And if you talk to the general majority of people, many have not wanted to experience unity consciousness with humans. We have had such negative experiences in this and other lifetimes. And so there is great fear of the collective, great fear of unity consciousness. And that is part of what keeps us in separation. That is part of what keeps the planet in polarity. Okay? So that fear of that deep unity consciousness and connection with other humans. So does that make sense, what we're saying first? And yes, the alchemy will be coming through later. They just want me to do the human explanation here. So just raise your hand if what we've said so far makes sense. All right. Beautiful. Okay, thank you. All right. So the first thing that we got to do with that is all of us, all 15 of us, had a group experience of unity consciousness. We had several over the days where the guides held us in a way that wouldn't normally happen if you were outside of a gathering. And we moved into levels of unity consciousness with each other and had a very profound experience with it, without fear, without just the almost the bliss of it. And so we did that several times over the next days, um, so that we could have that experience. Okay. And what we did, again, I may have my order mixed up slightly, but what happened is what we were allowed to do is we moved into unity consciousness as a group, very specifically, very consciously. And then we did an upgrade. We did a huge upgrade to the unity grid on planet Earth. And the unity grid has been around a while. It was also done at a gathering many years ago where we amalgamated all the grids on planet Earth, upgraded them into one grid called the unity grid. And so this was the first time in more than 5 years, when it was created more than 5 years ago, that we did a full upgrade in real time with humans holding unity consciousness. We brought in a new energetic for the unity grid. And it is the foundation, it's the energetic foundation for stronger unity consciousness energetics for all people and for the planet. And it also, the upgrade allows for more energies to be stored and held in the unity grid for Karila and Mother Gaia and the Council to utilize in the Great Awakening. So it was amazing to see and feel that this level of unity consciousness, the energetic upgrade they did, has not been on planet Earth for a long, 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 long time, right? And then at the very end, Lady Aurora came through, a being of light that I had only started working with a few weeks before on the full moon. And she, as we did the activation, she added the energy of starlight into the unity grid. And that is the energy, this starlight that she brings forth is the energy of potentials, even greater potentials. So the unity grid has now been upgraded beyond anything it's ever been before. It can hold more energy. So when we download love or peace or the potentials, the diamond lights, whatever, it will hold and store more. But the most important piece, it is the foundation now for stronger unity consciousness energies for all of humanity. For all of humanity. So on the next day, again, we were working with other smaller things each day, but the next day, the main thing that happened was each of the participants, all 15 of us, got quite intensive downloads and upgrades. So they each received an individual private upgrade for themselves to personally be in and hold unity consciousness. So the alchemy has shared that staying in unity consciousness or even moving into it has been so difficult because we weren't wired to do so in a long, long, long time. There has been so much manipulation of the DNA and everything on planet Earth that our ability to hold unity consciousness has not really been there in a long, long, long time as a collective, as a group. So each person got their own personal upgrade within their own physical and energetic body so that they have the ability to hold and be in unity consciousness. And I know for those that were present, it was pretty profound, pretty profound. Anyone that was at the gathering want to add? Do you want to add how that experience felt for you or write in anything you would share? Okay. All right. And then as you know, it was interesting as we came to the end of the gathering because we couldn't, none of us could even imagine what more we could possibly do. It was each day was like a week-long gathering. And as I said, years ago, even a few years ago, the upgrade to the Unity Grid would have been 5 days of work that we would have built on the energies for 5 days to be able to do that. So on the final day, there were really two great big things that happened that we will share. And the first was on a few rare occasions over time during a gathering in the highest vibration possible and in real connection, we have gone in and worked within the energy of the collective consciousness. And they have always visualized that or shown us as a visual, like a massive gray ring of energy around the planet. Okay. It is not a light and bright place as a general rule, because it holds all the energies of the collective, all the fears, all the energies of humanity as a whole. And it does hold the joy and the happiness, but the fear tends to quite overwhelm it. So going into the collective consciousness is something we do very, very rarely and very, very in a very specific, synchronized way. And we went in as a group and did a download of the energy of unity consciousness into the collective. And it was the first time in all the years that we've ever gone in, because we don't go in every gathering, that there was no fear. There was no, like, it was so profound to be in there, but we were already in unity consciousness when we went in as a group and downloaded the vibrations and energetics for the collective consciousness to start to move in to unity consciousness. So that was one part of the morning. And then the final part of the day, or the next part of the day, is so the unity grid had been upgraded and the energies had been put into the collective consciousness. And the final piece that we did was anchors were created, energetic anchors were created and placed around the planet into the grid, into the unity grid, to stabilize and hold unity consciousness on the planet. So that each time more and more energy of unity consciousness is coming in, it is anchored in more deeply. The grid holds it. And these anchors allow it to stay within the grid. So it was And if you weren't there, I know it's hard to understand or imagine any of this, but it was deeply, deeply profound to know that we are now moving into the potentials and opportunities for unity consciousness, because that is where we move into the 5D. That is where we move into the higher realms, because the third dimension on planet Earth is so definitely a polarity place, a place of polarity, of extremes. And one of the attendees says, I was so amazed at what true unity consciousness felt like. To experience it with others was beyond explanation. Yeah. And another says, who attended, I am in awe of how much was shared. At the same time, very happy to see how much of the energies of the collective have improved to be able to receive all this sacred information. So if you were on our global meditation last Tuesday, they downloaded an energy and they didn't share what it was. So we're going to do that again now. And that is the energy of unity consciousness, the energy of unity consciousness. But so just before I do that, they would like me to share with you a definition that they gave when someone was asking those. We had a discussion around this in the Amplified Mastery program, the year-long program that I offer, and so that everyone has a greater understanding. So the definition that they gave of unity consciousness is that you can see and feel the divine in everything and everyone. Okay, you feel that same divine spark in every human. Okay, and um, when it's fully activated in you, you feel it within everything, right? And when you're in unity consciousness, you behave, your actions and your words are different because you recognize and know that all is connected together, right? So it is that understanding that all of humanity carries the same divine spark, that we are equal, that we are connected, that we are one. And we are one with the trees and the flowers and nature and the animals and the crystals and everything on the planet. So, all right. So, if you have a couple of questions, now is the time to write them in, and we will see if we will answer them, and then we will do a download of the vibration of unity consciousness. I am that I am. It was explained that that is everyone and everything. Beautiful. If you have any questions or comments, if you want to write them in, and then in a moment we will be doing a download of the vibration and energy of unity consciousness. It'll come down through you, and then we will also put it onto the unity grid, into the unity grid. And I will share, it was in that vibration of unity consciousness that the decision was made to continue the energies and book, while we were still in Muskoka, the next gathering for November 1st, 2025, where we will return to Mexico. All right, so let me bring through the alchemy, and we will give everyone a download of this beautiful energy. Greetings, beloved ones. We are the alchemy, and on this day it is our pleasure to be present with you. We ask each of you to step upon your golden disc and come up to our field and come down around the crystal, our main portal. And we call forth on Ana-La-Rai, Christian, Karila, and Gaia to step into the crystal. And we bring forth the braid of purple, blue, platinum, and green that each of the four of them is receiving. And these braids of energies flow down into their heart. And Ana-La-Rai sends this braid out to each of you to connect with your hearts, that we may flow our energies directly to you. And now Christian sends the same four out from his heart to yours. And it goes through the back of your body and wraps around this whole group. And now Karila sends the same four, as does Mother Gaia, and you are connected by these four braids, 16 rays in your heart. Here on our golden platform around our crystal. And behind you, as always, are the many beings of light, the 11 rings of angels, the rings of enlightened ones, the ring of mythical creatures, the alchemy members and the high council, the star sphere beings. And see or feel now, as we begin to run the vibration and energy of unity consciousness, both down pure from source through your crown chakra and directly into your heart space through these four rays and ribbons. And we ask you to connect to the unity grid wherever you are on planet Earth. It is 6 feet or 2 meters below your feet. You don't have to go anywhere, just connect and feel now as the vibration of unity consciousness begins to flow through your crown chakra and into your heart chakra directly, both places, and it fills you up. And we ask you just to receive. And just continue to receive this beautiful vibration. We are not flowing anything else, simply this vibration of unity consciousness. And for some of you, we suspect you will feel a difference in that it is easier to come through. And it continues to flow into your heart and through your crown chakra, saturating your brain and flowing down your throat or neck and across the shoulders. And simply receive as this unity consciousness, beloveds, this vibration and energy flows down into the heart space and into the organs. In other times and spaces, this was like breathing. Unity consciousness was all you knew. And this is partly why the experience on planet Earth is so profound. Is it takes you out of unity consciousness. It puts you in separation from source, from each other, from nature. Continue to receive as this unity consciousness, this vibration of connection flows down past the solar plexus and sacral chakras, and it flows down your legs to your knees. It swirls around the reproductive organs. It saturates the nervous system. It moves into the muscular skeletal system and all of your body systems. And in many ways for you, it is a relief. It is the body goes, ah, finally, once again, For there is a cellular memory deep within that has been buried under the fear. The unity consciousness continues to flow down past your knees and feet and down into the unity grid. Allow yourself to be a conduit for these energies. Simply allow it to flow to you and through you, but it always fills you up first. And the vibrations of unity consciousness continue to flow. Beautiful, beloveds. Beautiful. And the unity consciousness gently and slowly stops flowing. And you may disengage your feet from the unity grid. And we remind you that you may call forth on the diamond light twice a day, up to 60 consecutive minutes, once at bedtime. And we leave a couple of minutes should you have a couple of questions. Does this fill your hearts with hope and joy, what we have shared, what Ana-La-Rai and we have shared this day? Beautiful. A few of you, it does. We know that sometimes it is hard in human form to see the progress. Will this energy be downloaded to all of humanity and when? We are not answering those questions, beloved. And so the potentials are shifting. The potentials are shifting. And things are moving forward. And we encourage you to stay within your heart. We encourage you to be aware when you are being led by fear and to shift out of it. We encourage you to interact with kindness and to clear your own wounds and fears so you can hold more and more of the vibrations that are coming through the higher frequencies Because when you are holding a lot of density, a lot of worry and fear, then it is hard. It is much more difficult to hold and receive these vibrations. Beautiful. And so people say it truly does. Yes, yes, yes. It is wonderful. I am enjoying gratitude. I don't want it to end. A new feeling, a new clarity. Thank you for all the support in our divine ascension for humanity. It is being easier to stay in my heart. Thank you for beautiful energies. I feel so comforted and blissful. I have felt a lot of loneliness lately. Maybe the unity consciousness will help. Beautiful. And so, beloved ones, we look forward to connecting with you next week. But we remind you next week will be at 4 o'clock Pacific. We are going back to our rotating times of day. Next week will be Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific, which is 7 o'clock Eastern, and we know in Europe it is very late. And we encourage you to join Ana-La-Rai on the advanced opportunity this Thursday. And so, beloved ones, our blessings and love to each of you for a day filled with connection. We are the alchemy. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week.